Coming up.
We like the Balancers because it seems like they have quite a bit of vigor, you know, and they make good mamas.
To have that composite hybrid female that lasts a long time, doesn't milk too much, has moderate mature status, and highly fertile.
Hear why more producers are achieving better efficiency in their cow herds through Gelbvieh and Balancer genetics. Next on The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick, and welcome to The American Rancher. Commercial cattle producers value cattle that will breed back and produce a calf every year. Gelbvieh cattle are highly fertile, moderately framed cows that raise high-performing calves even in tough environments. Their efficient use of resources makes them the picture of sustainability in today's modern beef industry. On this episode, we'll hear from producers who choose Gelbvieh and Balancer genetics to achieve efficiency in their commercial cow herds.
We run a beef cow operation and we background all of our calves. Been in this long enough and we've used this breed for long enough that we've been able to sell replacement heifers, you know, open replacement heifers, and got along pretty well. You know, we get a little bit of premium out of them, which that's all we're looking for. The feedback is been really good, and that's what I look for. You know, yeah, we need the premium out of them, but the positive feedback just adds to, well, we're doing something right here, you know. We're going in the right direction. This fall we started around September the 10th, calving, and this is probably the nicest set of heifers we've ever raised as far as condition, their disposition, the way they're milking. There's a lot of positive about these heifers.
We have the Harwood Ranch, and we're from Crawford, Nebraska, which is in the far northwest corner of Nebraska.
Mostly we run cow-calf pairs and keep our heifers for replacements, and that's our biggest thing we're shooting towards is the replacements, and the good weaning weight, I guess, too, you know, goes together.
We like the Balancers because it seems like they have quite a bit of vigor, you know, and they make good mamas. They take care of their babies pretty well. So that's one of the big things here, because we don't watch them, the mamas. We don't, you know, our first calf heifers we do, but the adult cows, they're kind of on their own.
We have really, really high breed back. I mean, lots of times we only have 1 or 2% empties, and the last 2 years for sure, our first calf heifers, we've had 100% breed back on them. And our pastures, they're pretty good, but it's still, when they go out to pasture, they've got to be an animal that can utilize what's there. And these Balancer cattle really do well on just most anything, actually.
We are Huffman Land and Cattle, and we are located in northwest Nebraska between Chadron and Crawford, and then also we ranch northwest of Tryon, Nebraska. Starting where we started to where we are now, trial and error. I mean, I went too small, went too big at the time, you know, and so to find that animal that can survive on the way we operate without high starch diets and, you know, high TDN, yet still reproduce at a high level and then stay in the cow herd a long time. You know, the longevity and the fertility is probably the most important aspect of our operation, because if these cows fall out when they're 7 or 8 years old, and even though they produce calves that gain 5 pounds a day, she's still lost her depreciation, because once she's 7 or 8, she's really paid for. So if she can produce calves for another 12 or up to 12 or 13 years old, that's basically 5, 6 free calves that we get by not having to replace her. So the reason that we started using the Balancer genetics is to create the perfect hybrid female. That is the main purpose of why we went to Balancer, to have that composite hybrid female that lasts a long time, doesn't milk too much, has moderate mature status, and highly fertile. I mean, that was our reason for going that way.
So we run Gelbvieh and Balancer cattle on about 900 acres. So it's primarily Janet and I run it. We do have one farm hand, and he helps us a lot on different things. But when we, after we were married and we got out of the Army, we came back to Bolivar, and we were building a barn, and my friend John, he says, hey, they're having a bunch of Gelbvieh heifers up at the Humansville sale, and you ought to go take a look at them. Well, at that point, I didn't really even know what Gelbviehs were. But it didn't take me long to fall in love with them. We brought, I think, 20 the first sale there, and then the next year, I think we bought them all. And they came from the Jim Freeman's farm. That's where all of our genetics started from. And we really didn't look too far after that, because we were raising 600 or 700 pound calves. The cows were gentle and always topped the market. You know, what we like about the Gelbviehs are they're great mothers. And again, you know, they'll raise the 650, 700 pound calves. Most of them are very gentle. And they grow good, and especially if you mix the Angus with them, they fill out good. It's just really, in my opinion, the best beef animal that you can have. We do raise all of our replacement heifers. We just feel like we can raise better heifers than we can buy. And we've been doing this for 20-some years. And our cows keep getting better and better every year, because we do keep our own heifers, and we put the best bulls with those.
After the break,
Our herd has improved very much since we started using the balancers and the Gelbvieh Angus cross.
learn how commercial cattle producers select bulls for crossbreeding systems when The American Rancher continues.
For nearly 40 years, Hydrobed has provided cow-calf producers with proven products, manufactured to thrive in tough North America operating conditions. Now, Hydrobed is proud to offer its customers the first variable-speed electric bale handling control system, the HydroStix. The HydroStix mounts to the left of the steering column, and for added convenience, an optional wireless HydroStix is available. For more information, visit their website at hydrobeds.com or call 800-530-5624.
Much like keeping one's body in shape is important, cattle must also maintain good health. All of this starts with good nutrition.
Sweet Pro is unique because it's a fiber supplement to a fiber digester. There's no waste in the product. They're getting all the raw materials and all the raw nutrients right where they need them.
For more information on all Sweet Pro Distillers grain-based rangeland and bunk-fed products with ProBiotein, or to find a dealer near you, visit www.sweetpro.com.
Welcome back to The American Rancher. When it comes to raising beef, it's important that cattle perform well in their environment and remain productive in the herd for a long time. By utilizing Gelbvieh and Balancer genetics in planned crossbreeding systems, producers can take advantage of the positive traits each breed offers. These producers explain how choosing the right bulls impacts their operations.
We like the Balancers just because of they're really good mamas. They got good feet and good udders. And we try to keep our own replacements, so we strive for having a nice moderate cow, but yet on our steers we want to have some pretty good weaning weights too. So that's some of the things that we look at when we're buying bulls is, you know, they got to perform, and they do. They feed out really well, so.
Our herd has improved very much since we started using the balancers and the Gelbvieh Angus cross. And our percentage of the bulls will be a higher percentage Gelbvieh on the bulls that we buy. That keeps our milk up. And that's what the cow is there for, is to raise that calf. I'm not there to raise it for them, they're to raise it for me. So I've been asked, okay, well, how long do you think you should get use out of the bulls you buy? We pay a pretty good price for our bulls, so I expect them to last me, at least 4 to 5 years. They're long lasting. That's another positive thing of the breed. Our bulls are still going.
The purpose that I went with the Balancer is they are traditionally known for, a smaller, mature size, moderate milk, very fertile. But our Balancer bulls are very easy to handle. With 5 kids over the years, wild cattle don't go, and so we do very well with them. It's not a fight to get them out. Their overall milk usually is not extreme from what we have right now. It's a very functionable animal that can live in the sandhills, and if they can be fertile and grow and do what they do under those conditions, then that's what we want to put in here. You gotta buy bulls or cattle from people that raise cattle like what you want to raise. So what we're trying to do with that composite cow is ultimately take full value of the hybrid vigor, part of what we're doing here, and adding that little bit of crossbreeding to get those extra few pounds or just the more efficient animal. And on the back side of that composite animal fits our environment. And then on the terminal side, if we go to that direction with a terminal cross sire, then that mom is still even going to produce a better calf at that point too. So it's basic a composite hybrid system crossed with a terminal hybrid system again, the balance of continental and British genetics.
We like the bulls we have really well right now. They've been really good to handle. They're not spooky. We just get along really well with them. And they're not huge bulls. They don't get really big. They just have really nice conformation, and they're thick and deep and nice size. For our ground, it's pretty rough. It doesn't look too bad right here. It's pretty grassy, but we got a lot of places where it's really rocky. And they've got to have good feet, and they got to have good conformation, because they just won't stand up. We have had other bulls that we tried, and they didn't stand up at all. We keep a lot of replacement heifers. They make a really nice cow. When our first calf heifers, the last 2 years, we've had no empties in the breed back on the first calf heifers. And same way with the whole herd, if we have 1 or 2%, that's a lot for us. Some years we just have a couple out of the whole herd, so they're very fertile and do very well. We get quite a bit of feedback on our calves, and everybody's always really impressed. And when we sell at Sale Barn, there's a lot of competition that if we don't sell calves in the top or real close to the top, usually every year.
So on the bull side of the house, we buy absolutely the best bulls that we can afford to buy. We really pore over the statistics on the bulls and the EPDs, and we try to find the bulls that will give us a moderate sized calf. We try to find the bulls that have the great weaning weights and the yearling weights. I always look for milk. Without milk, you don't have much of a calf. And we look for bulls that have some docility to them. We don't want them wild. We want them nice and calm. Calm calves grow better, stay healthier. We usually use predominantly the Balancer bulls. On our heifers, we use an Angus bull called Rainfall. He does a great job giving us moderate-sized calves for the heifers. And believe it or not, they grow out about as good as a calf out of a cow. So we like that. And then for the heifers that we keep out of Rainfall, we put them back on predominantly the Gelbvieh bulls. Try to get that percentage of Gelbvieh back up in them.
up next.
There's only so many resources that we have. With a grazing management system and the right type of cattle and a supplement deal, you can increase that 25–30%.
Learn why caring for cattle and maintaining the land are important aspects of beef production. That story's after the break here on The American Rancher. Welcome back to The American Rancher. When it comes to caring for their cattle, ranchers know that good animal husbandry is not only best for the animal's well-being, but it also has long-term benefits for producing safe and nutritious beef. Vigilant land management and raising cattle that thrive in tough conditions are especially important when overall efficiency is the goal. These producers' top priority is creating a high-quality beef product and forging sustainable operations for generations to come.
We put up about half enough grass, hay, to winter on, and then we'll need some kind of feed to supplement to get through calving and before we go out to pasture. And we usually have to buy some, and we'll buy usually kind of whatever we can get a hold of and make it work somehow. We mix it. I got a lot of straw this year. They didn't hay their wheat. They combined it, so we got straw, and I'd like to get some alfalfa to go with it, and then some distillers, and we'll make them utilize it. They won't have really that great a feed, but they'll do really well. Yeah, the Balancer herd, they're really a hardy animal, and they can utilize just about whatever, and they get about whatever too. This year we've got a almost completely different grass than most years here on the grassland. When the rain came, we've got a lot of cheatgrass, which isn't a real good grass and high in protein or anything, but they're doing really well on it, and there's other enough protein grass to go with it to make them utilize it. But the animals themselves are doing really well on it.
I do think that the Balancers and the crossbreed, they are hardier. I mean, you know, on years like last year and this year, you're gonna get some sick ones with this heat and dust, but I think it really does help them, so. Of course, the big thing is now, all the talk is the sustainability with the cattle, and I guess with running on the grasslands, the Forest Service, we hope that we'll be able to do that year after year. Our cows, we keep till they're 12, 13 years old, and they perform pretty well till then, and we just hope to keep raising good cattle and good meat.
There's only so many resources that we have, but if you can, with a grazing management system and the right type of cattle and a supplement deal, you can increase that 25–30%. You know, I mean, I really believe that any ranch can do it to a certain degree. Our system is not new. I mean, the grazing system has been around from massive intensive and, you know, moving them every few hours, half a day to 3 days, and then just on a slow rotation, maybe a 5-pasture rotation through the summer every 30 days. We have a combination of both depending on the lands that we have. And my job is to try to allow this soil in a 13–14-inch precipitation area to produce as much grass as it can possibly. And so with our rotational system on these type of cattle, we want them to go in and just take, you know, the tops off, leave us a good stubble, and then hopefully within 6–7 days that regenerates and starts growing again. And then we at least give it a 60-day rest minimum before we'll go back into that pasture. And if you can catch some decent rains, a lot of times we will have just as much growth in our test areas or more than our test areas. So we actually get maybe a time and a half, or sometimes on great years with moisture, a double tonnage per acre than the neighbors that just turn their cows out in May, leave them there till October. And if you look at these places, a cow's going to go select for the very most nutritious grasses. And so she takes those to the ground. As soon as that starts growing, say in 6 weeks or 6 days to 2 weeks, as soon as there's another inch up there for her to eat, she's gonna take it again. And so by doing the rotation, pretty intense systems, you make them graze more evenly. You make them graze more undesirable species, and then by getting out of there and giving rest, that allows your most desirable species to grow back up. My ultimate job is to create healthy soils that create healthy ranges, and those ranges then will take care of me and the generations to follow me, you know.
You know, having a good relationship with whether it's the breeder or your veterinarian or anything to do with your livestock, you know, because you can always gain, you know, valuable information to make you provide a better product. And that's kind of what we've done here is we've got a really good relationship with who we buy our seed stock off of. We got a really good relationship with our veterinarian, and we are on a program that we vaccinate at a timely rate, you know, and we give them the vaccinations for our area what are needed, you know, and we double up on the vaccination. It's just a combination of using all your resources to make a better product.
So we run about usually 95% conception rate. We feed good mineral and we feed good hay and keep the cows in good condition. You know, once we get the calves grown and we wean them, we usually wean in September. And you know, at that point, we put them through the whole protocol of 2 rounds of shots and worming and just kind of get them going for the backgrounders. And we sell them. After that, we sell them on Superior. So between Superior and the Feeder Finder program, it's been very successful for us. We've been very, very happy with the results, and we can plan to continue this for many years in the future. You know, on the pasture and grazing side of the house, we use rotational grazing, and we keep the grass growing, we keep rotating the cows, but you know, if you don't have grass, you don't have beef. One thing I've found in this business over the past 25 years that you can't do it by yourself. It is a family operation all the way through. We have our kids. Janet helps a lot, but we have our kids and grandkids. They get involved and they help us vaccinate, and I think that is one of the most rewarding things of the whole business.
For more information about Gelbvieh and Balancer cattle and the commercial programs offered by the American Gelbvieh Association, visit gelbvieh.org. That's all the time we have today. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Pam Minnick for the entire American Rancher team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.